If your children ask for bread, will you give them a stone? If your children ask for fish, will you give them a snake? Even if you are bad, you know how to give good gifts to your children. That is what I believe is in the hearts of every parent in this room. The quarantine period has undeniably brought a lot of changes in your children, be it good changes or bad changes. And as parents, you obviously want to shield them from anything bad that is happening. So should we be worried about these changes? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clarissa, and under the guidance of Mr. Advent, my counselor, I present to you my presentation, my research on how quarantine has affected student behavior. So it's very obvious that this goes way beyond the surface. I myself, as a student, can attest to that. I, as well as many of my peers, as I have observed, have gone through many hardships. And this has sparked a certain curiosity within me, that when I was given the opportunity back in 11th grade to conduct this research in a full extent, I was immediately invested. That was why, after that, I conducted a research that consisted of a survey with 62 respondents, as well as interviews with 2 experts, and my own personal research and references. Here is what I found. So first of all, we have to know what is exactly good behavior. To be completely honest, I have no idea myself. That's why I decided to ask the perfect person for this, the students themselves. As a result, the responses were split between responses that said they wanted to follow the bare minimum, the rules that were given to them, or they said, do whatever you want. As long as you're not hurting anyone, it's okay, right? So another question that I asked was, have you reached your expectation of good behavior? Then this is the funny thing, when I observe these 2 stats, you'd expect people with lower expectations to be able to reach their standards easier. But this was not the case, as students with higher expectations tended to reach their expectations more often than those who have lower expectations. And another thing that I asked in this is a pretty obvious one, and you all know the answer. Cheating was extremely rampant during the quarantine period. 1 in 3 students admitted to cheating every single time they got an opportunity. And that additional 40% displayed a habit of repeatedly cheating. But then this is where things got a bit confusing. Another question I asked was, how often have you cheated, before or after quarantine? And the funny thing is, after quarantine, the students actually cheated less than before quarantine. You see, this doesn't add up, because the last thing we saw is that many of the students said, oh, just do whatever you want, cheating is okay. And then they also said, I didn't meet my expectations. But now we're seeing that students are not cheating. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where I see the true enemy of the quarantine period. It is not your grades, it is not your morals. It is in fact insecurity. This is further. So at the start when I did this research, I was convinced that the morals of the students were compromised. But an interview with an expert showed me otherwise, and this was further supported by my evidence. It was also shown that 71% of the students justified cheating with good grades, despite being given the option to say no option is valid. This is a classic display that they were guilty of cheating when they were in quarantine. They felt guilty about it. They knew it was wrong, but they kept doing it. This showed that, and then when they went back online, they realized their wrongs. They lowered their standards to try to justify it for themselves. They tried to tell themselves, oh, it's okay, but deep down, they knew it was wrong. And they couldn't say, I'm a good person because of it. Hence, The fact that they said I did not reach my standards despite reaching them. So how do we address this? First of all, as guardians of your children, you need to set clear, simple, and manageable guidelines. These guidelines, this is shown as students who followed the rules, the basic rules set by people that have a clear start and stop, were more often able to reach their standards. So people who know what they're supposed to do are more likely to follow these rules. It's students who in fact selected that they want to go above and beyond were less likely to reach these standards than the students who selected that they would follow the rules, the set guideline rules. High standards don't always mean good results. An interview by the University of Georgia showed that children with strict parents tend to act on more. This means they have less ability to regulate themselves, they're less independent. This is because they're too reliant on people telling them what to do than to think critically on their own. Another thing I observed is that when asked, why did you cheat during online? Many students answered, it's because I saw everyone else is doing it. Why shouldn't I do it too? So parents, what is your role in all of this? Your role is to be a good role model for your children. Your role is to set the expectation, the bare minimum, what they should do, and give them the bare guidelines of what they should do, the clear, manageable guidelines. And schools, don't think I have forgotten yet. Schools are one of the most important places for a student to be. This is where they spend most of their days. And here are a few suggestions I have to make for the school to do. First of all, freedom and discipline need to be balanced. We need to give private mentorship to children to build a relationship with them, yet we still have to give them freedom of choice while still giving them consequences of their actions. And we need activities that will encourage self-discipline, such as goal-setting programs where children can set their own goals, and then mentors will help them break them down into manageable tasks so they can achieve it. Another thing is peer mentorship programs where older students can guide the younger students. It encourages discipline and leadership within each student. And most importantly, we need to build a good environment where the environment can encourage the students to think positively on themselves, to believe in themselves, that they are indeed good people, and they can raise their standards and meet those standards. So we have all suffered, not just the students, parents, teachers, everyone, we have all suffered during the period of quarantine. And it's undeniable that it has left effects on all of us. But we have also learned a lot from this. And I really hope that my research has been valuable for everyone. So, when you go home, will you continue to do as you are right now, or will you strive to make a change for the world and everyone else in it? Thank you and good afternoon.